went 2 years earlier and planted a murder kit. How the fuck are you going to catch this guy? Good luck.
Welcome to Talk Murder to Me.
Oh, musical opening.
Yeah. Gotta try something new.
Well, it's Friday night.
You know what that means.
We just got paid.
Mm-hmm. Money,
Thank
money.
God it's Friday
money.
night, and I just got paid. Money, money, money.
Money.
So what are we drinking tonight, Jen? This looks lovely.
It does look good. I don't know how it'll taste.
It's interesting.
It is, John gave us a clue of key, so we're drinking skeleton keys tonight. You know, it's almost Halloween. And it's made with
it's good.
Maker's Mark bourbon, Saint Germain, which is an elderberry liquor. But I don't even know what elderberry is, so it sounds like something mythical.
Yeah, it's like that from Lord of the Rings, I think.
And
what?
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
lemon juice, ginger beer, and aromatic bitters for garnish.
Ooh, this is lovely.
Oh, that is nice.
And it like fades. It's very pretty.
It's like different.
It's like a tequila sunrise. How the colors fade.
Yes, it's good.
We have a shout out to make.
Yes.
To a new Patreon subscriber.
Whoop whoop. Welcome, Megan. Thank you for being a patron.
And we appreciate your suggestion for John to do a couple of episodes based on what you wanted. And if you have some suggestions of things that you would like to have John research and do a story about, sign up to be a Patreon subscriber. It's only $1 a month, and you'll get exclusive content on Patreon. We'll interact with you directly, get some feedback from you, and put some suggestions out there for stories that John wants to do.
And even though our Patreon page is obviously very important, please don't forget about our other social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can email me or John at jen@talkmurder.com or john@talkmurder.com.
What do you think really happened to that poor woman in that elm tree?
I think she was running from someone and she got thrown in there. She ran in there.
She ran in there?
No.
I definitely think she was forced in there by someone.
Well, she had
taffeta down her throat.
So, but I don't necessarily think she was run.
But, like, who was she?
I think her body was just dumped there. I don't think she was necessarily, like, running from someone in the woods and they put her there or something like that.
But I thought that it showed that she was alive when, like, she was in the tree because of something.
Yeah, because, well, maybe not. All right, so her body didn't go in rigor mortis yet. Because if it did, when you die, your body goes in rigor mortis and your body expands because the gases are trying to escape.
Right.
So if that would have happened, she wouldn't have fit down that damn tree.
Yeah.
So she either was put there and then she died, or she died and then was immediately put there, like, right after.
Yeah, but if they killed her, why would they put her in that, like, why would they put the taffeta down her throat and then put her in the tree?
Maybe that's how they killed her.
Oh, yeah.
All right, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's a crazy story.
Who put Bella down the witch elm?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had actually never heard of that.
Me either, but I guess it's a famous case or something.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I've seen the graffiti before in some sort of, like, post or something, but it's cool.
Yeah, so that's our latest.
Very appropriate for Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah, that's our latest Patreon. I'm also doing another Halloween Patreon, so.
On Wednesday, we're going to do it?
Yeah.
I thought we were doing a real episode on Halloween.
Either. Patreon.com/talkmurder. That's patreon.com. Is that right? Patreon. /talkmurder. And listen to Who Put Bella Down the Witch Elm.
Call spelling it.
And that's our newest episode. We got, like, I think we got 8 full episodes on there that you will never hear unless you reach in those deep pockets and pull out $1 bill and donate it to us. Then you can hear them.
Yeah.
Guys, if you haven't joined Patreon yet, you totally should. Even I can afford to,
Yeah, you're paying $5.
I am. Don't know why. It's just going back. It's like I'm losing money on it, actually. Because I gotta divide it by
you gotta split up with us.
The others to put more in it because they don't know that's
Jen's paying $5. I'm paying $1. So if you meet us somewhere in the middle, maybe you can pay $3 for Patreon. See all our episodes. Plus, you get to see Drunk Jen. Wait, what was that one thing I posted?
You put a picture of my beer goggles.
The beer goggles on. Which is
funny.
Please,
that was a great night. That was a good recording night. Let's try to recreate that level of drunkenness, everyone.
Yes. Well, we have enough of all the ingredients, so we should be able to. Well, which brings us to our next favorite
I was going to say, speaking of getting drunk.
Surprise shots. Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise.
We talked about this.
I didn't fuck it. I fucked it up.
I don't understand how you can fuck this up so bad.
That's what I meant to do.
Oh. There you go.
Let me do it again. There you go.
Better.
He always has to have the
I remember
last
what I was going to say. It was about the Witch Elm episode. I was going to say, I do like the theory that relates to Harry Potter in any way.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not a theory. You talking about, she definitely pulled that from there.
No. I mean, I like the theory that it came from, which was the Hand of Glory. I like that theory just because that was from Harry Potter.
Guys, if you want to get your own Hand of Glory, go to patreon.com/talkmurder.
It just sounds kind of sexual.
Yeah, glory hole. Hand of Glory hole. Go to Talk Murder.
If you want something to plug your glory hole with, Google Hand of Glory. But don't stick it anywhere we wouldn't stick it.
Yeah.
That's not saying much for John.
Yeah, exactly. Hey!
Yeah. I'll stick that shit anywhere.
Hey!
Should I sing my surprise shot song again?
Yeah.
With gusto.
Oh, okay. You didn't think that was gusto?
No, I was just saying if you felt like
It's our surprise shot song. I'm a part of it now.
Well, you have to do it at the right time in order for it to
He's going to do what he wants. We can tell him anything, and he will just do what he wants. Have you not figured this out yet?
Oh, I have. I'm glad you're finally getting that, too.
Surprise shots, surprise shots. We don't know what they are, because they're a surprise.
Why can't I do it tonight?
That was pathetic. Come on.
I just spit on my microphone.
At least that
too
one's all
sad.
yours.
All right, guys. So I got to pick out the surprise shot tonight. It's been a while since I had my turn. It's good.
It's colored.
Don't worry.
It wasn't racist.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Something rum. Yes?
Toppers. Before you say anything, yes, banana, vanilla, cinnamon. Now, before you say anything, I was at 6 Mile Spirits today, our favorite liquor store right down the street, and guess who was there?
I hope they sponsor us.
Maybe eventually. The guy from Topper's Rum, they were doing free rum tasting, so I haven't tried this flavor before, and I didn't get his name, so I do apologize.
Topper.
Is that their real name? Their last name? Captain
Was
Drake.
it someone from Toppers, or was it the guy who works at 6 Mile Spirit?
No.
Or Mr. Topper.
No, it's the son. His family owns Topper's Rum, and they live in Mount Pleasant.
Oh.
And he's going to start listening to our podcast, so I told him we'd shout out Topper's Rum on the podcast
Oh,
tonight.
sweet.
Topper's Rum, if you would like to supply us with some surprise shot liquor,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
So they had rum tasting. So this is the banana, vanilla, cinnamon. This is the first flavor that they did.
It's good.
And
Yeah, it is pretty good. It's really smooth.
it is.
Like, I almost thought it was, like, not as strong, but it's really smooth to be, like...
Yeah,
You don't need to chase with it. It's really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, they're
it doesn't
local.
Make you want to, like,
They
gag
are local.
after. Oh, yeah, I like that.
They
I
live
didn't
in
know
Mount
they were
Pleasant,
local.
and it's distilled in Charleston.
Mount Pleasant, Charleston. Guys, of course, you know, we're the #1 true crime podcast on the internet right now. And Charleston is the place to be if you want to be serious about true crime. If you want to talk about murdering and having a good time, come to Charleston, South Carolina.
Are we doing a story about Charleston, South Carolina?
No. But I am going to do a Lavinia Fisher story on Patreon.
Yes!
Our very first story.
Oh,
But I want to do it right.
I can't wait to do that one.
Yes.
So, guys, where are we going tonight?
Mississippi.
Spell it.
Mississippi.
That checks out.
Florida.
Floors.
Keys. Oh.
In the tropical key.
I'm going to do something different tonight.
Yeah.
You get 2 guesses each.
There's a place called Kokomo. That's where we wanna go to get away from it all. Way down in Kokomo, Bahama. Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? We get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. Way down in Kokomo. Thank you.
Because I was either thinking Key Largo or Key West, like just the Keys. Key West. That's my.
We changed pitch a few times during that, so I do apologize to our listeners.
That was alright.
It was fine.
Not bad for 3 drinks in.
Yeah.
I told you I'd give you 2 guesses each.
All right.
Okay, I got my other guess.
Go.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, where the winds. Da, 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 da. I don't know the rest of the words for that, so you're welcome. West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Where else did you say?
We got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper sprout. We've been talking about Jackson ever since the fire went out. Oh, I'm going to Jackson. Jackson, Mississippi?
Yeah. Johnny Cash. I'm Johnny Cash. You done killed my favorite son. What was that movie? Dewey Cox. They took the wrong son. They kept saying that over and over. They took the wrong son.
Did you know Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are coming out with a Sherlock Holmes movie?
That's awesome. I love John C. Reilly, man. Yeah, have you ever watched that show? He's Dr. Brulls? Rolls? Dude, we should. It's like a little skit. You haven't seen it?
What show is it?
I kind of want to just play it. A skit of it. It'll get us in the mood.
I've never even heard of this before. Have you?
From the earth.
Have you heard of this before?
No.
Nature Valley.
Oh, no, it didn't make him famous. He was acting long.
Rules with Channel 5's Dr. Steve Brule. Did you ever wonder about what the cavemans did? And then you had to brush your teeth? They didn't use this thing, dummy. Just use a twig. That's what I do. For your health.
It's just
Rules with Channel 5's Dr. Steve Brule. Hey, I'm Dr. Steve Brule. Do you know what you're supposed to do if you catch on fire? Stop, drop, and roll. For your health.
That's all it is. It's like a million of those things. All right, let's get it going and going. I'm already a little buzzed. All right. Wait, you didn't tell me what the story's about.
Oh.
I said the story is about.
Captive.
I told you.
We gave us 2 states.
I know, but I told you the story has something to do with keys. So tell me what you think
She
it's about.
said the Keys and the Florida Keys.
Yeah, I think there was a girl who went on spring break vacation in the Florida Keys.
Oh, like what's that girl's name from Aruba?
Natalie Holloway.
Yeah.
Natalie Holloway.
And she was murdered on her spring break trip in 1982.
There was another one too.
Yeah.
I can't remember her
But
name.
they caught him.
Yeah, he was like.
They never caught.
Yeah, no, they caught one of them.
Holloway.
Not her. Yes, they did. For a different crime.
Not Natalie Holloway, but the other one they caught.
No, she's missing a presumed dead.
Yeah, but they caught the boyfriend of one of them.
The guy from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jarlsberg or whatever. No, that's the name of some type of cheese.
It is.
I think that it's a captive situation. Like someone's being held captive and they're locked away somewhere and their key is being dangled in front of them like a joke, but they can never escape.
Whoa.
Like the movie The Saw. And they got a certain time limit to get out of a puzzle. There's nothing like that, is it? What you're thinking about?
I've only seen one of the Saw movies, so I don't know.
We're going to Vermont.
Oh, damn it. I was going to guess the New England.
You are not going to guess that. You always say you're going to guess that. That one time you were like, I was going to guess 1926. I was like, what?
I was.
You were not going to guess a specific.
I didn't.
Jen was like, I was going to guess November 18th, 1926.
I was, okay? And I didn't say I was going to guess Vermont. I said a New England state, but then I went south. That's like when I am watching the Patriots, and my dad would always get mad because, like, before something happened, I'd be like, I called that in my head, and he'd be like, no, you didn't. I was like, yes, I did. I knew that was going to happen. He, like, never believed me, but you know what? That's
You
fine.
have to call it out loud. You have to call it out loud.
I don't want to jinx it, though.
Well, then you'll never get it.
All right. There's the killer.
He is not the killer.
He is. Look how devious he is.
Maybe the wife is the killer.
Yeah, look how devious she is. Okay, so, guys.
I would have pegged that for the victims.
I want to, like always, hey guys, go to talkmurder.com to see all the evidence photos. Putting a lot up there with a complete timeline. You're going to need it for this story. So go ahead. If you're not driving your automobile, go to talkmurder.com.
But if you're riding the bus, it's okay.
Yeah.
Or the train. And if you bought Wi-Fi on your flight, then on a plane.
Yeah, but we're not responsible for any charges from your cell phone company for data usage. Just want to put that disclaimer. So if you use extra data to go to talkmurder.com and then it charges you, we're
That's
not
on
responsible. Yeah.
But thanks for visiting.
Any complaints, you can just email Jen at talkmurder.com. She'll take care of all of it.
Or just press delete.
Yeah.
He said take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bill Courier, 50 years old. Job description. He
looks like Peter Griffin.
Oh, shit, he does.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
Who's Peter Griffin?
I'm sorry.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, anyway, moving on. Okay, this is Bill and Lorraine Curry. Bill is 50 years old. Now, he is he works at the University of Vermont. He's been there since 1986, before you guys were even swimming around, huh?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. I was swimming around. Well, no, I was born. I was born in 1986.
That's when my parents got married.
So, Bill Courier, 50 years old, has been working at the University of Vermont since 1986. He takes care of mice and other animals. He does for studies, scientific stuff, right?
Lab rats.
Yeah. He takes care of them. Bill's a pretty big man, 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. Lorraine, she's 55. She works at Fletcher Allen Healthcare. Every day, Lorraine would pick Bill up from her job. So she would go from her healthcare job, pick Bill up at the University of Vermont, and they would ride home together around 5 p.m. every day. They're an older couple with a routine. So the neighbors, they see them every day doing the exact same thing. They live in a very small town in Vermont, Essex, E-S-S, whatever.
ESSEX.
Essex, Vermont. This is an older couple, right? So Bill can't even drive a car because his medication and stuff. So Lorraine always drives him. That's going to become apparent to the police because on June 9th, which was Thursday, 2011, no one was close. 2011.
I didn't give a guess.
Oh,
I said 1986.
well, guess now.
2011.
You can't say that one.
2010.
No, it's 2011.
Oh, it's close.
Jen went. She was the closest. Okay, so they didn't come to work on Thursday. They didn't come to work on June 9th, 2011.
Neither of them?
Neither of them. Now, Bill he doesn't take sick days or anything. He's been working there for 30 years, almost 30 years at the time, right?
Right.
So when he doesn't show up for work, 25 years. When he doesn't show up for work, it's not like, oh, he must be sleeping in, because he never does that. You know?
Yeah.
Like, something is wrong. The Essex County Police, they get a call. We don't know where they at. They're not picking up the phone. I went to their home. They're not answering. So the police go out there and automatically they know something's up because, like I said, this is not a couple to just run off, right? And forget their troubles and leave it all behind. Mm-hmm. Now, the police go and they interview all the neighbors. Mm-hmm. And most of the neighbors that knew both Bill and Lorraine said, yeah, this is not they're the nicest couple in the world. There's something seriously wrong here. And one neighbor, Jennifer Roberge, 43 years old. I don't know why her age is important. One neighbor, Jennifer Roberge, said her golden retriever, Molly, and other neighborhood dogs started barking around 7 p.m. Wednesday night. So they were reported missing on Thursday when they didn't show up to work. Mm-hmm. So that Wednesday night, she was having a cookout, like a little barbecue, and she heard a bunch of neighborhood dogs barking.
The neighbor had a cookout, you mean?
She had a cookout, and her dogs started barking, plus all the neighbors' dogs. Now, they didn't have any dogs or any pets whatsoever. Well, they had birds.
Do they have kids?
No children.
Okay.
Good question. That's going to come into play. No children. All they had was birds. All right. Now,
didn't we just talk about this on a Patreon episode about people who have birds?
Yeah, I don't like birds.
What's wrong with birds?
They're creepy.
I will say, fun fact.
They bite.
Do you guys like this bird?
Womp womp.
So when my aunt who's my godmother, she moved from California to Massachusetts back when I was about 3 years old. And she moved into an apartment, and so she could not have her dog or her bird with her. She had some sort of like parakeet or something. And maybe it was a parrot, actually. I don't know. And so that was how we got our first dog, was our dog Sophie was an American Staffordshire Terrier, and she was 3 and I was 3, and I was pretty scared of dogs at the time. But
oh yeah, I saw that picture.
Yeah, Sophie was my first dog. So
go to Talk Murder to see that picture of Sophie. And Nicole.
Sophie. So when my aunt eventually moved into a house, not like maybe I don't know if it was 2 years later or whatever. She didn't have the heart to take the dog back because me and my sister got so attached to Sophie. And so the bird, his name was George T-Bird, and he had a very interesting ability so my mom, she owned her own business, worked from home, and so they would host a lot of meetings at their house where they would drink wine and whatever. So every time the bird, when my mom would take out a bottle of wine and would get the corkscrew ready, the bird would make the imitating noise of a corkscrew opening. He would go.
Was it accurate?
Yeah, he would do it while my mom would open a bottle of wine. So it was like a party trick. He would be like, "All right, George, you're ready for some wine," and and open it.
There's birds that will I've heard stories of a bird will expose a wife or husband that was cheating on him or something by saying stuff.
Robert.
Right there, Robert. Or whatever. Yeah, right there. I like that. Who the fuck is Robert?
Yeah.
They say birds are really smart. I don't know.
So that's my tidbit about birds. I don't really remember what happened to him.
All right, so...
I mean, obviously he died at some point, but...
Maybe he's still alive.
I do not recall.
Birds are descendants of dinosaurs.
So... Yeah, that's true. I was going to say so are we, but we're not. This is their house. Talkmurder.com to see their house. This is Bill and Lorraine Curry's house. Brad LaRose goes up to the house. Now, there's nothing broken on the outside. There's no sign of forced entry or anything. But the car isn't there, which is usually there. It's a small green Saturn. Really creepy story. If you go to Google Earth, and it's really weird. If you get on the street view of Google Earth, the car isn't there, but the overhead view, the car is there. It's really fucking weird. Anyway, the car wasn't there when he went, okay? He walked around the house. Everything was fine. There was no broken anything. But he went up to where you see the garage and peeked his head through the garage little window, and he saw, if you open the garage, there's a door that leads in the house. So looking through the window, he saw the door that was leading to the house had a broken window glass. So
someone got in through the garage.
Exactly. Now,
It's like a Barbara situation. She just walked right through the garage.
Oh my God, Barbara.
immediately they obtained a search warrant, entered the home. Okay. No sign of them, no sign of any struggle. Okay. No sign of anything. The birds, they had birds, I told you, they were still covered up for like the night. You know, they just left them there. So it was really weird because this is an older couple.
Right.
Now, they did notice, which is very eerie, a phone line on the south side of the home was severed. Just like in the movies, like in that Scream movies or whatever, when they're like trying to call the police and the phone cuts, ding, you know, they cut the line or whatever. Also, it's important to note that both Bill and Lorraine were on daily medications. Bill was on insulin. Medication still there. Lorraine was on heart medication. Medication still there. Another important fact, Lorraine can't drive without her glasses or contacts. Both still there. The car's gone.
Huh.
So, also, the wallet and the purse were inside there. And also missing a .38 caliber snub-nosed Ruger, which is a small pistol. All right. Now, as of October 7th, 2011, the Burlington Free Press reports that the Essex County Police were on their 6th search for this couple. This became a high-profile case because everyone wanted to know where this couple vanished to off the face of the earth. You guys with me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, the police did locate the green Saturn sedan on June 10th, which is a few days after, about 3/4 of a mile away from their home apartment building parking lot.
Why was it at an apartment building?
Now, a witness did come forward. Said they saw that car, that green Saturn, but they didn't see Bill or Lorraine driving it. They saw someone else driving it.
Ooh.
This guy.
Oh.
Creepy looking dude.
Chad from Nickelback.
Oh, he does look like that guy from Nickelback, doesn't he? That's a shitty band. I'm sorry if I offended anyone.
No, I think a lot of people would agree with you there.
Okay. Now, eventually, the police kind of doubted its credibility because their source wasn't 100% sure it was the right car. But that's the one they put out, and they got no hits whatsoever. So they started, it was like, Now, this went on for nearly a year. This couple vanished off the face of the earth.
Wow.
That doesn't happen.
No.
Okay, usually you'd find a body or something.
Like credit cards didn't show.
Nothing. They were just.
There. It's like, what's the point? What's
They were
the
there.
motive?
The earth swallowed them up. Basically.
Maybe the aliens took them.
Yeah, this is an alien story.
Ooh. That was my best alien.
All right, so now we're going to change direction a little bit. Stay with me.
Staying.
Where are we at now?
Vermont.
Vermont.
Until we're not in Vermont.
That's why he had us guess 2 states.
Yeah, because we're going all over the country tonight. We're going to Anchorage, Alaska.
I was going to guess Alaska, too.
Oh my God, Jen.
You're such full of shit. You are such full of shit. I don't. What? You were not going to guess both Vermont and.
I didn't say Vermont. I said a New England state, but I was going to say Alaska.
You were not, Jim.
All right, fine. Don't believe me.
We won't because you got.
We won't because you do this every time.
But I always change my mind. You guys know I can't make decisions to save my life.
Yeah, but you can't.
Put your mental ping pong.
I think I know what's happening.
What?
Okay, you're going through this random phase of guessing every state possible. And then when I say a state, your memory brings that up. It's like, oh, I was going to guess that.
No.
But because you were going to guess every other state.
No, I really did think Alaska for a little bit. And then I changed it.
To
Mississippi. And then,
All right, so from now on, I'm buying a lie detector test. And while we're recording, you're going to be hooked up.
to a polygraph? That's
Yes,
fine.
the whole time we're recording.
Deal. I will do it.
I'll get one.
Fine.
That's fine with me.
That's fine.
no, but like you said, it would show up as being a verifiable truth if Jen thought it at one point in time.
It's the truth.
Yeah,
What can I
okay.
say?
You just gotta voice it out loud, so otherwise they won't believe you.
We're going to visit one Samantha Koenig. Now, she was 18 years old. She was a barista. There's a little coffee house You guys seen these little drive-through coffee houses and stuff? Yeah, so this one in Alaska, which is cold as shit in Alaska. You guys ever been to Alaska?
No, but it's like there's times where it's dark all the time.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours of sunlight.
Like, light all the time.
I would like to visit. I would do a cruise.
Yeah,
like
Alaska
an
cruise.
It's literally a big block of ice.
Have you been?
Yeah, I've been.
Really?
Yeah, my
I want to see
uncle was living up there.
penguins and polar
There's
bears.
no penguins in Alaska.
penguins.
There's like
Antarctica.
mooses and shit.
In Antarctica is in the South Pole, not the North Pole.
I know where we are.
There are no penguins in the North Pole.
Okay, I do want to confess this story was initially supposed to be, and I tried searching fucking everywhere, a story about Antarctica, but there's been no murders. There's been one attempted murder in Antarctica, and I was like, fuck, I can't really do that.
Well, I mean, it's not like we have any listeners in Antarctica anyway.
I know, but I'm trying to reach out to that demographic.
But nobody lives there.
Yeah, there's like researchers and shit.
Yeah.
There's like one story, this researcher, like he went crazy because of the weather and shit, and then he stabbed one of his partners, but he was just out of his mind. He wasn't like trying to kill him. I was like,
when I go to Alaska, I only would want to go in the summertime.
Is it bad that I was like, fuck, I wish you would have died so we could do a story?
Okay, well, here's hoping, guys, that one of you researchers out there in Antarctica kills one another.
Okay, so this is Samantha Koenig. Samantha Koenig, she's 18 years old. She's working at this little coffee drive-in called Common Grounds, right?
Like Tidal Grounds.
Yeah. CCT video. You got to see this. Let me show you. I'm going to skip forward a little bit. So she's closing up. It's around 8 p.m., closing time for her.
Closing time.
Now, someone comes up wearing a ski mask, which, keep in mind, it's Alaska. Everyone wears ski masks. He had a travel mug with him, and he went up to get coffee right before they closed. So she served him. So she's brewing the coffee right now. Okay, you see her brewing the coffee. You see her talking to the customer, and he points a gun at her. So she's got her hands up right now. He says, turn off the light. So she switches both lights. And then he's like, I'm going to rob you. And then if you skip forward a little bit, he jumps in there through the window. So he's in there now. He jumps through the coffee house window, ties her up with zip ties. Right? And now, this is in the parking lot. There, if you see the full CCT, you can actually see cars moving, but it's nighttime and it's in Alaska. I don't think anyone, So he ties her up with zip ties, pushes her out the back, and then they go and he secures her about a block away into his truck, which is a Silverado. That was the last scene of Samantha Koenig. Okay, obviously it's the same guy in Vermont and Alaska.
That's a long way away.
That's a long way away. Now, while this is going on, the police in Anchorage now start their search for their missing victim. Same time, Vermont is starting their search. Anchorage, they actually catch this guy. And I'm going to get into how they catch him later.
Wait, what were the dates again? So one was June 2011. What was the other one?
February 1st, 2012.
Okay. So...
12.
Yeah.
It's 8 months.
8 months.
8 months apart. Vermont. Essex, that little town in Vermont. Where everyone knows everybody. They get a call. The police chief gets a call. Hey, this is Anchorage Police Department. We have someone that we apprehended up here. And they say they committed a murder in Vermont. And they know exactly all the details of what happened to it. Now, no one even they suspected foul play, murder.
Right.
But now you have someone in Anchorage, Alaska, which is on the other side of the world, basically.
It's about as far away from each other as you can get.
Yeah. That says...
In, the United States.
Maine would be farther.
That is... No. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Nicole. Third place geography.
I didn't say that is, as I said that's just about as far.
Well, I don't know. Let's see. Because they're right by
in the continental United States. I mean, not in the in
maybe
the United
also,
States.
Yeah, she's right.
I didn't say exactly. I was saying I said it's just about as far away as you can get.
Seems like what a third place winner would say. Just kidding. Jen. We got.
You can play it back. I said it out loud.
Oh,
What?
shots fired.
Yep.
What?
Because Jen didn't say her thing out loud. I said mine out loud, so you'll be able to hear it.
That's not even relevant.
What'd you say?
I said it was just about as far away as you could get.
I ain't never won a goddamn thing in my life. I'd be lucky in hell if I ever get third place in anything. We got someone here in Anchorage, Alaska that we done apprehended that says they done murdered you people in Vermont. That's how they talk in Alaska. I've been there.
Down to South Park, we don't have their South time. I know
All
South
right.
Park is in Colorado, but you like literally reminded me of.
Yeah.
So
there's no way, right? I mean, how the hell? But he was certain. So he said, here's what happened. Now he's getting interrogated by the police. I'll tell his side of the story later. Basically, I abducted them. Abducted? I abducted them, put them in a little farmhouse a few miles away from their home, and then I burned them.
Oh, with the eliminator?
Now, the police in Vermont, the two detectives that were on the case, I mean, it was like after work time for them, and they rushed over to that farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Rushed over. Unfortunately, they received that lead from that guy, April 2012. They descended on that farmhouse, which is 32 Upper Main Street in Essex County, that same night. Now, that lot contained a 2-story stone and wood home. Unfortunately, it was leveled. Completely rubble. Right? Well, not even rubble anymore. That was
Fire?
It was already hauled off to the landfill.
From what?
Months ago. Because the lady that had bought the adjacent land had also bought that land, and it was like an old dilapidated farmhouse. So she just got it knocked down. I mean, she didn't know there was bodies inside, obviously, right? I mean,
Yeah, but no one walked inside?
okay, I did see a report where the construction crew opened the door and the stench was so bad that they decided to demolish it without even going in. But I mean, it could have been like, oh, there's probably a family of deer that got stuck in here, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't blame them, you know.
Well, yeah, they didn't know. No
They
one
didn't-
was looking for
But this is a small town. You don't have two
Well,
elderly bodies ever. I mean, there's like never murder. It's a quiet town. This is the quiet town, right? Nothing ever happens. It's like Sullivan's Island or IOP. Those guys drive around in those golf cars. Ain't nothing ever happens there.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if they have like a 2-body thing. I mean, they'd be talking about that for the rest of their life.
That would put us on the map.
Yeah.
We're already on the map.
Bill Murray puts us on the map.
My friend ran into him in the airport the other day.
Did she say she was sorry? Like she knock him over, or like with her car?
Funny. She took a picture with him or of him.
This podcast is brought to you by the one and only Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, why don't you come sit in our podcast with us? That would literally be the best.
Bill Murray, and if you take that the wrong way, please do not sue us, because it's not really sponsored by you, obviously, unless it is.
Can we host a show at Rutledge Cab Company? Okay, thanks. Bye. He owns that restaurant. Did you know that?
I knew he owned a restaurant, but I didn't know which one.
It's not bad. It's pretty good. I've eaten there.
I liked his newer movies. They're kind of like sad, not sad. Anyway, all right. What was I talking
I
about?
really liked him in that zombie movie that we watched.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
What
Yeah.
movie?
The Zombieland with Woody Harrelson in it.
That's a really funny movie.
I never saw
That
it.
was good.
And yeah, he pretends to be a zombie, and then he gets shot because they think he's a zombie, but he's really not. And I just ruined that for you.
Oh.
Unfortunately, the farmhouse was already destroyed and hauled off to the dump site. This huge landfill miles away. And it was actually demolished. October 25th is when they started demolishing it. So they descended on it April 12th of 2012, and it was torn down in October 25th, 2011.
So it's like 6 months too late. Sorry.
Yeah.
Try again.
The investigators did conclude that, quote, there were indications of human decomposition in the basement of the former farmhouse. This was consistent with the information the FBI had received. Now, I didn't say this before, but this case, the Anchorage case, and in fact, both these cases got escalated to FBI status very quickly. Okay.
What makes something get escalated to the FBI?
When you call and complain and say that you're going to throw a $600 TV in the trash.
And put it on social media?
Go to Patreon to listen to John tell a story about how he pretty much scared the shit out of the telephone guy at Sony so that it went all the way up the chain because they will not come and fix our TV.
Yeah. I told him I'm going to tell all my Talk Murder fans, and as a number one podcast, the number one true crime podcast, there's a lot of people. I was like, I'm going to tell everyone to buy Panasonic and not Sony.
What about Samsung? They're pretty good too.
Yeah.
Or LG.
Or Vizio.
Vizio.
I think
we should get the Vizio.
No, because Vizio and Sony are the same company. What? Vizio bought Sony out, I think.
I'm pretty sure Sony's going downhill.
Which is why they're like the same thing. Like, you don't carry Sony anymore at work.
Because I can tell you why I think this. Because when you call their support line, the first thing that comes up is, it's like, if you're having trouble with your TV, press this. If you're having trouble with your VCR or whatever. The first choice is PlayStation, which if the PlayStation is their prime money driver and not household TVs, then that's a problem. Because I would feel like the market for TVs is a lot larger than the market for video games.
Well, yeah, but there's so many different competitors out there right now. Sony's not doing much with it.
That's what I'm saying.
Samsung is the way to go. If you're getting a different TV that's not a Sony and fixing the one that you are doing now.
Do you know who invented the TV?
You do.
Okay, I'm not going there.
Who?
He was a 15-year-old farm boy from Idaho. But he tried to put a patent on it, and RCA, the big RCA company, decided to go ahead and make the TV anyway.
Was it Mike from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
All right, so the farmhouse was demolished October 25th.
No one got that reference.
No. No bodies were located, but there were human remains. So the debris, the rubble, when it was demolished, was transferred to the New England Waste Service. Now, this is how high profile this case became. FBI Supervisor Senior Daniel Raychek said more than 10,000 tons of trash in that landfill has been excavated and examined thoroughly for 2 bodies.
I want that job.
Yeah.
In the largest search in Vermont history of all time, the cost well into the millions. That is how much they wanted to find out what happened to this couple.
Oh,
that's a good story. That's
nice, I guess.
It's a good, yeah.
Like if I go missing and die, like that probably won't happen for me. You guys will just be like, "Oh yeah, she died."
Yeah.
And by the way, John probably killed her.
Why would you say that?
Because.
Well, don't give it away.
This is all a ploy.
Okay.
I'm not really part of this. They're just trying to bust my ego so that I trust them.
Do you guys like the story or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'm about to get to the killer, and then I'm going to tell what really happened. You're going to be really pissed off at me.
Okay.
Okay, so the search went from May 7th to July 18th, 2012.
Okay.
Okay.
So about a year after they went missing.
Yeah. There were 178 FBI agents. It took 11 weeks through 10,000 tons of trash, 178 FBI agents, and 38 different field offices all got together, and they literally went through trash. Let me show you a picture. It's pretty crazy.
Trash. I feel like the trash, like that's the size of Texas, that's floating in the ocean, should be on maps. so people can see Garbage Island.
Yeah.
Like, that's really sad, but you don't think about it because you don't see it on a map. Like, I would like to see where it is floating around.
Yeah.
Oh, we're the problem. We're part of the problem.
Yeah.
The search for a missing Vermont couple begins anew in a different location. New developments tonight in the case of Bill and Lorraine Currier. Good evening, I'm George Mallet.
I'm Stephanie Gorin. Today found police searching a completely new location for the missing Essex Junction couple. News Channel 5's Jack Thurston is live in Coventry with more. Jack.
Well, Stephanie and George, today police held no media briefings for us, but they have said over the past several months that this is a very delicate case and they're hesitant to release too much information because they don't want to risk endangering this very, very sensitive investigation of theirs. But it was obvious to us today that there was a lot of very difficult, very hot work taking place at this massive landfill here behind me. Big trucks from all over Vermont head to this landfill in Coventry, in the state's rural Northeast Kingdom. From the ground, it was business as usual for the trash haulers Monday. But from the sky, we caught a glimpse of where police spent the day digging through a mountain of rubbish. The FBI, Vermont State Police, and Essex Police were here looking for clues to help them unravel the mystery of what happened to Bill and Lorraine Currier of Essex.
Please keep Bill and Lorraine in your prayers. Please just call the police if you know anything.
The quiet couple vanished in June of last year. Investigators have said very little about the case, but do blame foul play. No criminal suspect has ever been named. Federal authorities did say the work at the landfill is a follow-up to digging last month at the site of a demolished home in Essex, but they would not reveal if any specific clues found there pointed them to the landfill. This latest search could stretch over 3 weeks. Vermonters hope it uncovers some answers into how their neighbors disappeared now nearly 1 year ago.
So that's what happened there. What do you think about that?
I think it's unfortunate that they have to go digging through trash for someone's body.
Yeah. I mean, that's
People are not trash.
That's a shitty job, I mean, to do, digging through that trash. I mean, so shout out to all the agents or whatever that was involved in that. I mean, they didn't find anything, but, you know, I think it's a good thing that they did it, you know. And people were like, well, it costs millions of dollars or over $1 million. They're worth that shit.
People
I mean, this isn't some gangster couple, man. This is like, there's just an old couple that are productive in society. Now, let's get on to what actually happened. This is them digging through the trash.
Ooh.
Rough job. Talkmurder.com to see digging through trash. All right, let me go. Quote, the Curriers were, in fact, murdered. It was a random act. A person is in custody. That is the Chittenden County State Attorney, T.J. Donovan. That was 2 days after the search engine. Go to google.com, type in Talk Murder.
In the search engine.
So after the search ended, 2 days later they came out, and I think it was because they did spend some money. Well, they had the suspect before the search, right? But they were keeping it under wraps, and I think it was because, okay, they spent all this money, they didn't find anything, but now they have the suspect, right, or whatever. Whatever. It saves face.
Yeah.
Let's get into who I'm talking about, shall we?
Yes.
People, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you. Okay, this is the guy they arrested.
I don't see a resemblance to the sketch. I'm not going to lie.
No. He looks more like Matthew McConaughey.
Or
Oh,
Jason
shit, he
Mraz.
does look like Matthew McConaughey in that picture, doesn't
I
he?
think he looks like Jason Mraz in the first one.
Yeah.
This is Israel Keys. Keyes. I did it again, guys. I thought you... Oh, my God. What is Jen doing?
Oops, I did it again.
Okay, so let me tell you about Israel Keys.
I got rum in my eye. Oh, shit, that was a bad idea.
Okay, so this is Israel Keys. I'm going to talk a little bit about his childhood. But first, I think I'm going to go over what he told the police he did to Bill and Lorraine Murray, and then I'm going to say what he did to Samantha Cohen.
Were Was Bill and Lorraine his first, or were there more?
Huh?
Were there others, or was Bill and Lorraine his first?
Hold on, I'll get that. According to Israel Keys, the serial killer from Alaska, on June 2nd, 2011, remember, they didn't show up to work June 9th. On June 2nd, 2011, Israel Keys flew into Chicago intending to kidnap and kill.
Can I clarify something?
Yeah.
I was not going to guess Chicago, Illinois. I just want to clarify, I was not going to guess Chicago, Illinois.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Go on.
So Jen says she was going to guess Chicago.
No, I was not.
He carried a gun and silencer. Try to do that nowadays.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, don't. Please don't try that. That was not advice from...
Oh, just be like, oh, these podcast guys told me to try it. All right. He flew in Chicago. He was going to kill someone. That was his motive for flying in Chicago. Now, he rented a car, drove more than 750 miles, because from Chicago to Essex, Vermont, if you're looking at a map, it's a pretty far distance. He lands in Chicago, Illinois. He rents a car and he drives all the way up through New York and all the way to Vermont just to kill this couple.
He singled them out, or just he was...
Yes, he singled them out.
How?
Fuck?
Okay, now...
Facebook?
Yes, no. All right, he checked in a motel.
Craigslist?
Check it out. He checked in a motel, the same one that he stayed in previously in 2009, where in 2009 he stayed in this hotel, went about half a mile away from this couple's home, buried what is called a murder kit.
Oh, what the fuck?
Of guns, camcorders, duct tape, zip ties. He buried this. This is a crazy ass story. He buries this a couple blocks away from their house in this forest. Like, no one goes in there. It's like in the woods. No one would ever go in there. It's so random.
Like the murder woods.
Yeah, so random. Random barrel buried with a gun. You see the gun in it.
It's a Home Depot bucket.
Yeah, it is Home Depot. I think it's orange. He buried this in 2009. He goes back June 2nd to kill him. And then June 8th is when old Molly, that golden retriever, starts barking, right? The early morning of June 9th, this is what he says. He said he cut the phone line, the south end phone line, and removed the window fan to the garage. So if you think about our garage,
yeah,
you know, we don't have a window fan, do we? But he removed the window fan, entered the garage, grabbed a crowbar, broke the window to the house. Now he's wearing a headlamp. This is in the middle of the night. He's
wearing a headlamp?
Headlamp,
oh,
like
wait.
a...
Okay, like miners.
Yeah.
For a second, you meant a lampshade.
Yes.
I'm like, how is he seeing? Is this in the sky?
And he stands in the corner and he pretends he's a lamp. Wait, that's not a lamp.
I love lamp.
Okay. Now let's get really gruesome after that joke. All right. He smashed the windows to the house. He's wearing a headlamp. He rushes into the bedroom where this old couple's sleeping. Lorraine's 55 years old. Bill's 50 years old. Old couple. Friends with everyone. No enemies. She can't even see without her glasses. He can't even drive without his medication. This random old couple. He goes in there like a SWAT team with his headlamp, shining, pointing the gun, yelling, demanding. Okay. He forced them into their car. Now, their car is usually in the garage, right? It's just like our cars. So he forces them in the back. They're tied up and gagged to the back of that little green Saturn sedan. He says, shut up. And then they start driving. He shuts the garage. They drive to the farmhouse, right? He had tied Lorraine up, and then he went down to tie Bill to a stool. Now, he noticed Lorraine had, like, broke through her ties, and she's running towards the street trying to get away. She broke her restraint. She's just, like, making the escape, right?
Mm-hmm.
He chases after her, tackles her right in the yard, drags her back into the house, ties her up, and then Bill's yelling, "Where's my wife? Where's my wife?" Now, he's broken the stool, and he's about to get free, too. So Israel Keys, the serial killer, takes a shovel, bashes it over Bill's head a couple times, just bow, bow, bow.
This didn't cause any blood splatter?
Oh, yeah. Blood splatter everywhere. And it was a dilapidated farmhouse. No one ever goes in it. Yeah. No, this is not their house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you remember when the police went into their house,
There was nothing.
there was no fight, nothing knocked over. Okay.
Yeah.
Bashes him in the head with a shovel. Bow, bow, bow. And then he shoots him in the head. Boom. And Lorraine screaming. And then he goes up there and, he sexually assaults. He rapes Lorraine. Okay. And it was very violent. Anyway, he strangles her to death, and then he puts both the bodies in garbage bags, drives to New York State. He dumps the stolen gun. Remember that .38 snub nose that he stole from the courier's house? Mm-hmm. He dumps the weapon into the reservoir in Parisville, New York, which police do uncover. The FBI recovered the weapon there. Now, this is from Lieutenant Murdy, the guy that was on the case. There was an enormous amount of risk he had to take to go into a neighborhood he's unfamiliar with, into a house of people he's unfamiliar with, and remove them in their own vehicle. A rational thinking person would think the chances of getting caught are very high. So, questions?
But, okay, so what I don't understand, so why did he choose this couple? He was there in 2009, but why this couple?
Okay,
was he casing the neighborhood and picking an easy victim?
Or 1999. Would have been nice.
No, 2009.
Yeah, 2009,
It was 2009, okay. But
Good, thank you. Okay, so Israel Keys, his childhood, he grew up the oldest of 9. They lived without electricity in a cabin. Of course, right?
Where?
In Colville, Washington, the mountainous parts of Washington. Literally lived in a cabin with no electricity. The family... Yes, Jen?
I also was not going to guess Washington.
Good to know.
I gave you guys 2 guesses because we're going all over the place, and neither one of you guys...
I will say the one that I was thinking of, so I gave 2 guesses. One was Florida and one is Oklahoma. So I will document for the record, in case John says it in the future, was Idaho, because I was thinking you were either going to say it's like Florida Keys or I was trying to pick a state that looked kind of like a key.
Oh, okay.
So I picked, so Oklahoma was the second state, and I was like, ooh, Idaho kind of looks like a key too, so maybe that was it. So in case that one comes up, then that was what also.
The 2 states that I actually picked were states that we have never picked, that I have never picked before, but I did not select in my head Washington, and I did not select Illinois.
Were there others in your head that you would like to call out now before we carry on with this?
You each get one more guess. I'm going to say like 10 other states, so...
Oh, okay. Can I look at the map?
I told you the map was a good idea.
Well, I already said mine. I said I was... I mean,
you can
that's
get
what
one
I said,
more
Idaho.
each. One more each. Knowing the story now.
Okay.
But you can't pick what I already said.
Okay. I'm going to say Nevada as my official 3rd guess. So my official out loud guesses were Nevada, West Virginia, and Mississippi. And in my head, I did say Alaska and something in New England. Those are the only 2 that the only 2 that were in my head.
I'll just stick with the ones that I mean, I'm fine with just saying it's Florida, Oklahoma, and Idaho.
He's giving Idaho, okay.
Yeah, but I was thinking that originally, like before, because I thought it kind of looked like a key.
That's a good point. No, I'm going to say Nevada, Mississippi, and West Virginia.
And then I also thought Massachusetts kind of looked like a key, but I thought Idaho.
Well, you know the guy's name is Keys, right?
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
Does anybody want to stop guessing states that look like Keys?
like that was under my thought process before. So I was making it fair.
All right, so the family moved in 1990s to Smyrna, Smyrna, which is in Maine. Okay. He was a woodsman. I mean, no electricity and living in a freaking cabin, of course. So when he was a teenager, he built a cabin.
With his bare hands?
Yeah.
Well, look at you, Abraham Lincoln.
It's actually a pretty nice cabin.
Cabins are cool, unless they're creepy.
Now, after he got out of his family life, he became a devout atheist. In fact, he had a pentagram and an upside down cross on his...
That's a Satanist.
Well, he was an atheist. Or no, he just didn't believe in religion.
Yeah, but I thought that sort of stuff was
Upside down
Satanist.
cross is Satanist.
Yeah, well, he was a Satanist. No, he wasn't like a skinhead Satanist. He was just...
Skinheads and Satanists are different.
He had an upside down cross.
Satanists
No, the guy that forms the satanic the Bible. What's it called? The Satanic Religion. Adam LaVey or Adam LaVey, Antoine LaVey.
They worship the devil.
You know what I'm talking about? Satanism. Antoine LaVey, the guy that started it, the bald guy. He's a skinhead.
Well,
from that one story?
A lot of them are skinheads.
But, no, I mean, Satanists have the upside down cross. They worship Satan. Atheists don't believe that there is no God.
Well, maybe he just likes just because he has a tattoo or a branding of an upside down cross doesn't mean he's Satanist. Maybe he was trying to be a plus sign and it got fucked up. Maybe he was a mathematician.
I'm just saying.
Wait, I got a tattoo of a fucking
Phoenix.
And I went to fucking Phoenix. That was a self-fulfilling prophecy. I go to the University of Phoenix.
I've still never seen that tattoo.
That was such a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Hey, but you have your degree.
I get a tattoo of a phoenix when I'm 18, and then I go to University of Phoenix when I'm fucking 32. He's a woodsman. He's good with the woods. So if you're asking me why he...
what? Woodsman, he's good with the woods.
He's good with the woods.
Yeah.
If you ask me why he would go and bury a murder kit in the middle of the woods, it's because he's comfortable in the woods.
Well, yeah, but it didn't have to be a murder kit. It could have been like snacks
where?
Yeah, he would bury snacks for like 5 years.
Beef jerky or like there's a difference between a murder kit and a survival kit. Like that is a murder kit.
But also,
that's what he wanted to bury.
He targeted these people.
Yes.
Why? I don't understand. Tell me more.
We're going to get to that. Now, when he was a teenager, now they had a lot of guns. He was a gun collector when he was like 14. I'd like to apologize to our Patreon fan, Julie, for what I'm about to say.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
It has to do with cats, doesn't it?
He killed cats.
He told the investigators one point in his childhood when he realized that he was
fucked in the head,
a psychopath. He didn't use the word psychopath, but that's
right.
When for Cocoa Puffs.
He saw a cat that was always going through the trash and fucking things around. Meow, 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 tear your trash up. He took it to the woods.
True word spoken.
He took it to the woods with a couple friends. There was like a guy and a girl with them, all young teenagers. He pulls out that revolver, and that cat's backed up to that tree.
Oh, no.
He takes that revolver and shoots the cat in the stomach.
Oh,
Bow!
The stomach is the most vulnerable.
And then he's
cat.
staring at the cat. The cat runs around the tree, and eventually the cat bashes his head into the tree and then dies. And he starts laughing.
Oh, my God.
And then he didn't realize that was not funny. And then he looked at his friend, the guy that was with, and the girl was in shock. And the other guy, his other friend he was with, was vomiting. And that's in his head. He tells investigators that's the moment when he knew that he had these different feelings or no feelings at all. and he had to hide them. Does that make sense? So a psychopath has to train to actually not show their deepest, darkest side. They have to train to do that. So that's when he knew that he can't be laughing at shit like that.
I thought that was a sociopath.
Or whatever. Sociopath, psychopath. I don't know. So
because sociopaths know the difference, psychopaths do not.
When he got out of his house, he does a 3-year service term in the Army, joint base of Lewis McChord, which is near Tacoma, Washington. This is him. Now, he was in the 1st Battalion Alpha Company, 5th Infantry. What an asshole, because I was in the infantry, so fuck with you now. But, so he actually got like...
I was in the infantry, 25th Infantry Division.
Oh, really? The mountain guys in New York? Where's that at?
I don't know.
So he was in the infantry. You know, he was a gunner, got medals, whoop-de-doo, I did too. He never went to war or anything, but his barracks mate, Sean McGuire, eventually comes out, and no one knew his dark side. Okay, everyone was shocked when this guy is a serial killer. They're like, no way. You're talking about someone completely different. This is the nicest guy in the world. He's not a serial killer. His barracks mate, Sean McGuire, says they developed a camaraderie while spending some time training in Egypt. And that's when he started to notice such a dark side to him. Like, he would get pissed off and then he would put his head down and say, I'm going to kill you. You know, stuff, just weird stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But he never thought anything of it. So he left the Army after 3 years and joined an Indian tribe doing maintenance work. He was really good with building and, you know, he built a fucking cabin, right? I mean, he's a good carpenter, all that stuff. So he was working with them, the Makah Indian tribe in Washington. And then his girlfriend at the time got a job in Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay.
So they moved up there permanently. He was such a likable character. So I'm thinking like American Psycho, kind of like, right?
I've never seen that movie.
Like everyone kind of likes him.
I've never seen it.
Like he's like a psychopath, right? Everyone likes him, you know, but then he's got a very dark side. All right. He was hired by Paul Adelman as a handyman in 2008. Now, I saw an interview with the guy that hired him and he said, yeah, I mean, this is the nicest guy ever. And I would, you know, tell him to do something and he would just put his head down and he would just work, never take any breaks, never go on his lunch break. The work would be flawless, perfection. And he said he never had any problems with him. He would get there on time. He would stay late to finish up. When he was told that, oh, this guy's a serial killer, he was like, no way. I would loan this guy money. He said, I would loan this guy my house. That's how much I trusted him. He was such a trustworthy guy. And in all the interrogation videos, he's buddy-buddy with all the detectives. And I know the detectives do that to build rapport, but I do think that he has kind of a hold over them. Mm-hmm. That's why there's freaking 10 interrogation videos where most serial killers only have one. Because it's so much of just back and forth bullshitting. What's his MO? All right. He's an Army guy, right? Very meticulous.
He does fit one of the profiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Occupation.
Wait, I was an Army guy.
I realize that.
It's not really fair because like a fifth of Americans are Army guys.
Yeah, that's true. It does cover a big population.
He was very meticulous. So I saw a lot of interviews, people saying he's a genius. I think it's wasted talent because he is a genius at doing what he did, which is murdering a lot of people. We haven't got there yet. But the amount of focus and attention he had and stamina to just do perfect work, and he would just get so lost in his work, you know? He had an MO, no children. A family must have no children.
That's good, at least.
Now, he's murdering people as a hobby.
Oh. You don't find that type of stuff in Hobby Lobby. There's no murder section there. I've checked.
That is correct.
Well, so he decides one day in his life, all right, I'm going to murder people. But I'm going to do it smart. They can't have any children. There can't be no dogs. There was no dogs there.
Oh, that's good.
There can't be no car in the driveway. And he needs to make sure that he knows exactly where the bedroom is. Now, he went 2 years earlier and planted a murder kit. That is how meticulous this guy is. How the fuck are you going to catch this guy? Good luck.
Well, they did.
They did because he got sloppy. Like they all do. Let's see the man himself, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. You guys don't get a crush for old Matthew McConaughey.
I think he looks like Jason Mraz.
Back when I was smart, I would let them come to me. Just remote area. Come go to a remote area that's not anywhere near where you live, but that other people go to as well.
He's talking to the detectives and says he's targeting people at random because he's got to get his murder fix.
Mm-hmm. And he's trying not to draw attention to himself.
He definitely doesn't draw attention. So here's what he does. He flies all around the country, random ass places, and he finds a random couple that he would never ever have any ties to in a different state.
He does couples too.
Not only that, but he will fly. So every place he flies to, he just won't go there, a couple miles down the road. No, he rents a car and he drives sometimes days. Sometimes he drives 3 days to get to another state to make his killing after he has buried a murder kit for 2 years. There's still murder kits probably everywhere all over the country. Just like that with guns and tape and... Isn't that crazy?
You know what I've always wanted? A metal detector.
Just go down to the beach and...
make that a reality.
Yeah. Probably cheap as shit.
Yeah, we usually have them at Christmas time at work. I just never bought them. But, what if we found one of his murder kits?
That'd be crazy.
That would never happen. Actually, it could.
Anything is possible, John. What if we found, doubloons or some other type of treasure?
He talked about the rush that he got out of it, the adrenaline and kind of the high from doing it. And I think, unfortunately, I think he enjoyed what he was doing.
There is nothing probably greater than holding the power and control of someone's life and looking him in the eye and being able to control all of that is intoxicating to serial killers. And that's why they keep doing it.
Keyes also told Agent Godin that he could relate to notorious serial killer Ted Bundy, who confessed to 30 murders before being executed in 1989. The two killers had similar methods.
It's very common for serial killers to have no relationship with the individuals they ultimately kill. Many times they will not do it in their own community. Mr. Keyes, Ted Bundy fits this profile.
Prolific serial killers choose their victims carefully, like Gary Ridgway, known as the Green River Killer.
But I thought I was doing you guys a favor, killing prostitutes.
Ridgway.
All right. So now you see why it's hard to explain why he's killing random people, right? I mean, because that's his. It's really weird when I read some books and they talk about serial killers. Like, okay, now he was in Florida or whatever, and that's where he started his career, his killing career there. They say, as in, serial killers, that's their career. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that is
I see that all the time. It's so weird.
So he would bury these murder kits. So in this case of the couple in Vermont, he buried a kit there in 2009.
Yeah.
And then he came back 2 years later to that area where he buried a kit and picked out a couple.
Yeah. He memorized all his murder kits everywhere. And just...
How many kits were there? Do you know?
Who knows? I'm going to tell you right now, no one knows.
How many did he kill?
No one knows. I'm going to tell you. Just let me tell you about Samantha Koenig, because this is the one that got him caught.
Oh, because he lived there. Right, he lived in Alaska.
Yeah. So, let me say one thing. So if you're wondering how a handyman can fund all these flights to random places and bury a bunch of guns everywhere.
Sure. Travel ain't cheap, man.
Yeah. He actually was a prolific bank robber.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
So this is a bank in Texas. I'm showing on a picture, talkburner.com, of him robbing a bank.
Like him.
So he...
Mask on.
Okay, so...
Is it a mask?
Mm-hmm.
All right, when he was arrested, the detectives thought he just killed Samantha Koenig. Now, in all his interrogations, he's got the cards, right? You know, he doesn't have to tell them how many people he's killed. They can only guess. That's why there's so many interrogation videos, because he wants it his way. He says, I am not going to tell you anything else until I get a certified execution date. And he's holding all these cards. And then he'll release a name here and there. And a couple names he'll release. I'm going to tell you, they suspected him at one point of killing 8, but it's a lot more than that. They eventually upped the numbers even more. He would say a name, they would look it up, and be like, wait, this was labeled accidental. And he'd be like, no, this is how I killed him. He killed so many people that a lot of them weren't, and he was so meticulous about how he did it, and so careful not to get caught and cover every one of his tracks, that some of the victims were labeled accidental.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. And you can't catch him anyway because, number one, he flew in a few states away, took a rental car where he had buried a murder kit years before, you know? What the shit, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, anyway, all right. I'm going to tell you the Samantha Koenig story, and then we'll wrap up. All right, so 18-year-old Samantha Koenig was in Anchorage, Alaska. She worked at Common Grounds. Okay, you saw the surveillance video where he goes in there and makes her turn the lights off. Search went on forever, but he finally came out once he was arrested and confessed. And it was only to get things, right? At one point, he was like, I'll give you quote, I'll give you 2 bodies and a name for some coffee and a cigar.
What? Wow.
Yeah, one of many, right? So 18-year-old Keyes actually used Google Maps to point out the exact spot where he disposed of her body. The picture I'm showing you guys, this is in the middle of Alaska.
Is this in the middle of a lake?
Yeah, the body was found in an ice fishing spot. So this is not a specific spot. It's just a big piece of ice. Now, I don't know how ice fishers do it, but I know they build a wall around themselves of snow, I guess, of ice or something. And then they take a chainsaw and they cut a big square in the ice. And then they fish or whatever. So he pointed out on a Google map this exact spot in Alaska. And they went there. Lo and behold, they found the body. Now, here's what happened. Common Grounds coffee stand is partially concealed from a busy 6-lane highway in mountains and snow. On February 1st, 2012, around 8 p.m. closing time, the video shows she handed the cup of coffee to him, and then she backs up, as you saw. She turns the light out. He forced her into his Silverado, bound her hands with zip ties and gagged her. You all saw his house earlier, right?
Yes, the blue one.
With all the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Forced her into his shed. It's a small shed. The whole time he says, I'm just holding you for ransom. You're going to be returned safely. And she's 18, so she was going with it. On February the 2nd, he raped her, strangled her, left her in the shed, and then went back into his house where he lived with his live-in girlfriend and his 10-year-old daughter.
Oof.
And the very next day, immediately, they all flew to Houston and went on a cruise, a 2-week cruise with his daughter.
Oh my gosh.
And she was left.
And she was in the shed while he was on a cruise with his 10-year-old daughter.
And she died in the shed.
She was already dead when they left. He raped her. He raped her, strangled her, left her there.
I missed the strangled part.
Now, the fucked up thing. Okay.
More than that?
On February 13th, he took a photo of Koenig holding the February 13th newspaper and wrote a ransom note on the back demanding $30,000 to be placed in his account. And to prove that she was still alive, he posted this picture. Now, the thing is, she is not alive. He strangled and raped her February 2nd. So this picture you're looking at is her dead. No one knew it, but he took thread and needle and threaded her eyes so they would be open, so she would look like she was alive.
Yes.
How fucked up is that?
Oh my God.
Is that not the craziest shit you've ever heard?
So creepy.
Yeah, that is creepy, because she's been dead for 2 weeks.
She doesn't look
in
like
that
herself
photo.
in that picture either.
So she is, that's,
Look at her mouth.
she's dead.
It's like swollen.
She's dead. Like her eyelids are sewed so she looks like she's alive. Then he wrote a ransom note demanding $30,000, and then he texted the family and said the ransom note is at this random dog park, and they ripped down the ransom note, and it was like, deposit $30,000 into her bank account. It's actually hers and her boyfriend's shared bank account. They got the money together from friends and family and reward money from whoever would come forward. Because, I mean, the whole community thought she was still alive. This picture was in the papers. This was in every paper. And everyone was fooled because they thought she was alive. She looks alive.
It's interesting that when you look at her hands, like that's supposed to be her hand, but you can't really see it. It's kind of blurred out. It's probably not her hand, obviously, because she's dead, so you can't get a dead girl to hold up. So it's probably his hand.
Yeah.
Isn't that creepy?
Yeah, it's really creepy. It's like one of the creepiest things we've ever said.
Sewing her, he sewed her fucking eyelid.
Not only that, he sewed her eyelid shut.
What?
When his
open, he sewed them open
10 feet away from his 10-year-old daughter in the house and his living girlfriend, which knew nothing about this. Remember, Israel Keys is the nicest guy in the world. You'd hire him to do anything.
That's crazy. Like, that's literally like her eyes. Like, you know, when you said dead eyes, like those are literally dead eyes. But like when you look at it, if you didn't tell me that, I'd be like, that's kind of like a bad picture. But like, there's no life in her face, obviously, because she's dead. But like, you know what I mean?
Honestly, it's like her mouth gives it away more than she's dead.
Yeah, because it's swollen and like
it looks like a dead person's mouth, like it's like chapped. It looks like a corpse. Because it is.
I want to say a quote from
that's creepy.
Police Lieutenant George Murdy. Quote, "I would describe it as if I was talking to a contractor about the work I was going to have done, and he was describing the work he had done in the past. There was no emotion or anything, just flat." So he was talking about the killings, all the killings he did, like he was talking about work he did 2 years ago on a house, on a patio deck. And he's talking about killing someone and sewing someone's eyelids together, right? I mean, you talk about complete psycho. Like, no emotion whatsoever. Completely flat. Isn't it nuts? And in the interrogation videos, he talks about this while he's sipping his coffee. And he's like, man, is this decaf? What the fuck? Oh, yeah, I killed her, raped her, all this shit. It's the craziest thing. And he's like, he has no emotion. He doesn't feel bad, which is crazy.
No remorse. I don't understand.
Now, the only thing he does wince about, if you watch the interrogation videos, which I do encourage you, if you guys are really true crime fans, don't just watch the shows, the true crime shows, and all that stuff. Go and watch the interrogation videos. Sit there and you'll learn a lot. Anyway, the only time he really winces, and I've seen this in a lot of killers, even Paul Bernardo, same thing. When they talk about raping, sexually assaulting, it's like they're embarrassed.
They should be.
The main purpose of all the interrogation videos, if you watch them, there are a lot of them, is him trying to save face. He's like, I don't want my daughter to Google my name and see me. And he was holding all this information because a press release came about him.
Maybe you shouldn't have done what you fucking did.
He doesn't want people to know he was raping these women. I don't want my daughter to know that.
But
it's okay to know that he killed them.
Murderer is okay.
And not only that, it has came out that he wouldn't just rape the women, he would also rape male victims too. He definitely did not want people to know that. That is for a fact. All right, so here's how they called him. ATM card, right? Mm-hmm. He's got their bank account. Mm-hmm. February 29, 2012, he withdrew $500, which was the max limit, from Anchorage ATM using the debit card from her. Mm-hmm. March 7th, okay, this is in Anchorage, February 29th. March 7th, he withdrew $400 from Wilcox, Arizona. He's at it again, right?
Mm-hmm.
March 9th, he withdrew $80 from Lordsburg, New Mexico. March 11th, $480 from Humble, Texas, right? Another $480 in Shepherd, Texas. Now, the police eventually figured out, okay, the ATM photos, we can see his rental car. It's a little white Ford Focus. It's blurry, but we can make it out. And he's driving along Route 110. So they stopped him in Lufton. The Texas Lufton police didn't know who he was at all. This newbie cop, stopped him because he was going 3 miles over the speed limit. And he stopped him not knowing that this is a psycho killer.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to tell you this.
It hadn't gotten to him yet, like, look out for this car.
This guy has been killing since 2001. He's been going on these trips. Okay?
Wow.
14 years he's been doing this. And this newbie cop stops him going 3 miles over the speed limit.
Wow.
That cop is the luckiest cop alive, right?
Also, I mean, if I were just a regular human being, I'd be like, screw you for 3 miles over the speed limit.
Inside the car,
you, man.
So he actually goes into custody. He's caught. So inside the car, rolls of cash, piece of gray T-shirt that he would cut out and make a face mask with, a highlighted map with routes to California, Arizona, New Mexico, the stolen debit card, and her phone. A lead Anchorage police investigator, she's got a weird name, Monique Dahl, that was her name, and her partner Jeff Bell went to Texas from Anchorage for the arrest. Now, she says, I told him that the first couple of times I read that ransom note, I thought that whoever wrote this note was a monster. And the more I read it, the more I came to the understanding that monsters aren't born, but they are created, and that this person had a story to tell. And then Keyes replied to that quote, tell her she's got her monster. Here's what goes down. So he dumps Samantha, right? There's a lot more. In fact, the police, because he would not get the police anything. Nicole, can you read this?
Where will you go, you clever little worm, if you bleed your host dry? Back in your ride, the night is still young. Streetlights push back the black I neat rows. Off to the right, a graveyard appears. Lines of stones, bodies molder below. Turn away quick, bob your head to the seat. As straight through that stop sign you roll, loaded truck with lights off, slams into your broadside, your flesh smashed as metal explodes. My pretty captive butterfly, colorful wings my hand smears, I somehow repaint them with punishment and tears. Violent metamorphosis, emerge my dark moth princess, I would come often and worship on the altar of your flesh. You shudder with revulsion and try to shrink far from me. I have you tied down and begging to become my Stockholm sweetie. Okay, talk is over, words are placid and weak. Back it with action or all comes off cheap. Watch close while I work now, feel electric shock of my touch. Open your trembling flower or your petals will crush.
Jesus, I didn't realize that was so long.
That was long and dark, and it was no pumpkin poem.
There's hundreds of interrogation hours of him. He barely releases anything. He releases like 2 potential victims, but it's so obvious that he's got so many more because he would release a name, like I said, and they'll be like, wait, I thought that was an accident, you know. He struck a deal for an execution date. I don't know what happened, why it went sour, whatever, but December 2nd, in his jail cell, they found that note soaked in blood. He had hung himself and then slit his wrist with a razor that he had got from somewhere, like a shaving razor. Killed himself. No one will ever know how many victims there are.
Wow. You would have thought that he probably would have wanted to be infamous for his details, but I think it was almost like his sexual crimes made
his sexual. Yeah, he didn't want his daughter to know anything. All right, so
see, but that's the thing that, like, not only is suicide, like, I know I talk about this all the time, but like when a killer commits suicide, it literally, like, it makes me so mad because you take the closure away from the families of the victims and like you take closure away from not just them but everyone, and we'll never know. But we deserve to know. We deserve to know. They deserve to know. Even if we don't deserve to know, they deserve to know. Not you, but them.
He confessed to one name. He would just filter out he would just give these cops these little names, and he would say, I'm only going to give you some of the ones I know you're going to get anyway. And then they got his computer, and he was like, I better tell you about these 2 other people I killed, because I know you're probably going to find that. So no one knows how many people he's killed. And I've seen like Reddit threads and everything where people are like seriously asking off different websites, like, does anyone know if my loved one here may have died by him? So the FBI released a complete timeline of all of his travel records. They went back and tried to find every place he's been in the country. And we only did 2 murders, but he has peppered the entire United States. And the FBI...
Might one of them been Oklahoma, Idaho, or Florida?
Nevada or West Virginia or Mississippi?
California, he even had a South Carolina driver's license.
Wow.
Washington, Seattle, New York. And this is only like a partial list because they probably didn't see everyone. But so they released this video, the FBI, this is from the FBI channel.
Confessed serial killer Israel Keys took 11 lives. That's up from their previous count of 8. The FBI is also releasing a new detailed multi-year timeline regarding the whereabouts and dealings of Keys. The 34-year-old committed suicide while in prison in Alaska last year. But before he died, he confessed to killing Bill and Lorraine Currier of Essex, Vermont, and several others. Tonight, the FBI believes Keys was involved in nearly a dozen murders in 10 separate states and are working with few precious details to find closure for his victims.
Really, this is a remarkable sort of a pathway that he's left for investigators.
Forensic psychologist Dr. Thomas Powell believes the latest set of clues provided by the FBI are evidence investigators are finally beginning to piece together who Israel Keys really was.
He's a textbook psychopath, really.
The details span more than a decade, from 1997 through his arrest in 2012. But the timeline reveals no new details about Essex couple Bill and Lorraine Currier, whom Keys abducted from their home in June of 2011 and killed at an abandoned farmhouse nearby. Investigators do say Keys made several trips to Montreal where he spent time with prostitutes. They also say Keys confessed to abducting and killing a woman from the East Coast and burying the body in upstate New York in April of 2009. But they do not believe it was at his property in Constable. And they say the very next day, Keys robbed Community Bank in Tupper Lake. He waited at a park nearby and watched as authorities rushed in.
This guy clearly is in a league of his own in terms of what was motivating him and how he was actually able to pull off, a decade of cross-country homicides, abductions, bank robberies, and other assorted felonies that really left a trail of misery in his wake.
Yeah, he also confessed to random burning people's houses down to the ground, like all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh my God.
Dr. Powell believes Keys was manipulative and controlling and carefully calculated how he released information.
He was very specific about some of the details he gave and very vague about others, leading me to believe that he was certainly holding a lot of cards up against his chest at the time he died.
Keeping his grasp on control over authorities, the investigation, and his victims, even from the grave.
One of the tragedies that go along with a case like this and a guy like this is that he takes to the grave many of the things that they would love to know. And in a way, it's the ultimate act of cruelty.
Authorities have released several...
It's crazy. So anyway, the FBI released a huge list of all his places, and they're asking the public, even today, people are calling in and trying to link a disappearance of their loved one to this guy using these timelines. No one knows how many people he's killed. He wouldn't admit it, and he's got such a sinister laugh too, like it was crazy. But he'd be like, yeah, I killed a few, and then they found out he killed 8, and then he's like, yeah, and then they found out he killed 11. I mean, who knows? And then he kills himself. it's crazy, man. It's a crazy ass story. The whole going on a cruise thing is just crazy.
Yeah, that's messed up.
The suicide, he killed himself, and, you know, like everyone that dies, the family held a funeral for him.
For a man who says he killed 4 people in Washington and 4 others across the country was held today. Israel Key's family and their pastor drove to the funeral home from East Texas, but no one else attended.
Wah, wah, wah.
Before he killed himself in his Alaska jail cell, Keyes admitted to...
So anyway, no one attended his funeral.
Well, I don't think
So anyway, that is a true psychopath, man. True psychopath. I've been wanting to do his story for a long time. I knew it was elaborate.
Jeez.
Wow.
You know? I mean
that's dedication to go to fly from Alaska to, like, say, Chicago or another major airport, and then drive for days and days, and then go to one of your random burial sites that you buried a murder kit 2 years prior, and then just go say, I'm going to kill this couple today.
Yep. Yeah.
Kill them. And be on back his merry way. And then go rob a bank on his way home. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, one thing we didn't talk about, during one of his court appearances, he actually got out of his ankle chain and tried to make a run for it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then in the interrogation video the next day, he was like, it's so crazy to watch it. Like, I'll put the video up, but, you know, we had this deal, and then you tried to do this, and he was like, yeah, well, if I would have made it, then, you know. And then he starts laughing.
Oh my gosh.
It's so creepy, man. So I'm going to read a couple quotes from him, and then we'll be done. One of the prosecutors asked, how long have you been 2 different people? Because he would always admit he was 2 different people. And he'd laugh. So he's got this really sinister, ha ha. That was perfect, actually. A long time, 14 years. And then another quote, he says, there is no one who knows me or who has ever known me who knows anything about me, really. They're going to tell you something that does not line up with anything I tell you because I'm 2 different people, basically. So, and then another quote he says is, it takes a long time to strangle someone.
Good to know.
So,
thanks, Israel. All right. Well,
is there anything about his, like, a growing up life that we need to know? Like, he grew up without power, one of 9.
Yeah, I mean,
were his parents, like, abusive, or?
No one, I mean, he was such a closed book, too, with that stuff. I know he grew up in not a good household, you know, literally in the mountains. I mean, he's a really smart dude, and I mean, no one questions that. I want to show you his laugh, and I'll cut it in there. It's really creepy.
Honestly, I could have lived with the drama as long as I had been successful in escaping, but since I didn't, now I'm like, man, I really wish I hadn't created all this drama.
Isn't that weird? That laugh? Well, it's so weird, man.
Maybe we could still
don't I laugh like that?
Yeah, but his is like, he laughs right after he says what he's just done to, like, someone. Yeah, like, it's so weird, man. Anyway, so that's my Israel Keyes story.
Cool. That was a good one. I liked it. Thanks, guys, for listening to Talk Murder to Me. We really hope you enjoyed this story about Israel Keyes and his murderous spree across the country.
That was not in one of the states that Jen nor
I let you guys pick literally 4 different states, and you couldn't.
3. Okay, the ones I did not name out loud, there was only one that was actually, well, I said a New England state in my head, and I also thought Alaska, but I didn't say them.
4 states, so that's not fair. Actually, that's more than that.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, and I'll put all the I'll put the complete timeline on talkmurder.com. Also, guys, join our Patreon page. We got some really good exclusive episodes up there. It's literally $1 a month. It supports us, and you'll love it as a community. You can ask us questions.
Right now, we have about enough money to buy a 6-pack of beer per month.
Woo!
Yeah.
Big money!
And not even good beer, like Natty Light.
Yeah. So if you want to help us drink, then thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome to Hotel Kakalaka.
It was literally double.
I didn't even know they get to 4 points. I thought 3 was the max. I thought I wasn't that bad. I was like halfway there.
Oh, did you sit on your dick?
What the fuck?
I don't know. You made a really uncomfortable face.
Jesus Christ, this podcast has turned you raw.
Nicole likes intelligence.
Y'all better catch up with these dreams. We're actually descendants of like muskrats and shit. Did you know that?
That's weird.
Yeah. So we were, the dinosaurs were all like, and we were like crawling on the ground. It's like, you know.